Hello and welcome to a pro basketball show with me, Andrew Willett. We're in the midst of WNBA coverage and excited to bring our content to you. You can catch a pro basketball show on streaming services such as YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify with live broadcasts on playback. Make sure to follow us at APBShow on social media platforms such as Twitter and Instagram, with more coming soon. Without further ado, a pro basketball show. Welcome to a pro basketball show. We are getting set and ready for the WNBA season, just days away now, and today we're going to talk about one of the most historic teams in the W's history, and with a new head coach in tow for the future, hopefully a bright future, and that is the Los Angeles Sparks. To talk Sparks and everything that they put into this team in the offseason, I am pleased to be welcoming the man who once sat next to Jessica Alba. He writes for the Sporting Tribune about the Lakers and the Sparks. That's Rey-Rey Moralde. Rey-Rey, excuse me. How are you?
I'm good. Man, I kind of even caught that Jessica Alba thing. That's funny.
See, I was looking around. I was trying to do my prep work, and I thought that was pretty good. That was pretty good. But thank you so much for joining the show. I guess you say coming into your first year with the Sparks, I guess how are you feeling heading into the season about what the team has been able to do?
It's a little exciting because the past 2 years haven't been great for the Sparks. It's almost like a fresh start, basically. So we're all having fresh starts here in LA.
That we are. I like it.
Yeah.
As we start to get into them, I want to start first by recapping their season a year ago. Not the strongest season by any means, as I know they didn't get back to the playoffs like they were hoping to. Finish 13-23 and really a disappointing season. Well, and as I go and look back at their season, Ray, I'm kind of surprised to see that, yes, Derek Fisher was still the head coach for a little bit before Fred Williams took over. That feels like so long ago when that move was made. But what are some takeaways that you can take from their 13-23 season a year ago?
A disaster. I mean, there's a reason why there's a huge turnover for this roster this season. New coach, new general manager. More than half the roster is gone from last year. So, like I said, they're having a fresh start this year, and hopefully they can do well.
Looking forward to that, as some of the players gone from their roster a year ago. And this was at the start of the season. Amy Atwell, I remember Derek Fisher had some confidence in her ability to shoot the basketball on the squad. Liz Tambage, Kennedy Carter, Olivia Nelson-Ododo, Tiana Smith, Brittany Seitz, and Christy Tolliver, a couple of big pieces, in my opinion. They're all gone from last year's roster at some point or another. Yeah. And they bring in Crystal Bradford, Lasia Clarendon, Zia Cook, Monica Shijano, Rashonda Gray, Dearica Hamby, Azurá Stevens, I think, is kind of the headliner here. But as we start to look at their offseason, what was a move that you liked the most heading into this season?
I like Azurá Stevens coming in, championship experience, defensive versatility, and she really got her career going in Chicago after she just started in Dallas. I also like Dearica Hamby once she's able to get through her pregnancy. I know she wants to play this season. I don't know when, but obviously she's still recovering from that. But I also like the draft pick of Zia Cook. I was hoping she would get picked after her performance in the Final Four in South Carolina, and hopefully Monica Shijano. I know it's so hard to stay on the team with so little roster spots, and the WNBA's expansion basically. But yeah, I hope she can stay because I really like her game in Iowa. So lots to like here.
Yeah, and it adds to some returners: Leslie Brown, Ray Burrell, Jordan Canada, Chinea Dumate, Neta Dumate. Exciting news to bring back Neta Dumate for sure. You bring back the Dumate sisters. Also bringing Carly Samuelson in with Katie Lou Samuelson. So a lot of siblings on this team right now.
I know that they joked about having to do like a 2-on-2 of the sisters once Katie Lou's done with her pregnancy or whenever she can recover. So yeah, that'd be exciting if that happens.
Yeah, that would be very exciting.
Yeah.
As we've gotten through so far, preseason season here coming soon by the time this is released. But as we start to look at some of the moves, I think kind of the largest move is the addition of head coach Kurt Miller,
Hmm.
who had a very successful run over in Connecticut. What do you think he can bring from that run to the city of Los Angeles, where expectations are always high?
Yeah, championship experience. Even though he didn't win, he's been to the finals twice in Connecticut. And he's going to bring discipline and hopefully a great defense for the Sparks. The Sparks were, I believe, last in defensive efficiency last season. That's not going to, but I think they're mostly last in most of the categories for the Sparks last season. So, yeah, he did say in media day that it's a slow process. Of course, they want to win the championship, but they're going to take it day by day and see where it goes.
Yeah, and when I start to look at his run in Connecticut, it always felt to me like maybe the roster makeup wasn't exactly good enough in order to compete for those championships, although he still had the Sun right there. But I
Mm-hmm.
think in Los Angeles too, they're gonna give him the reins to kind of do what he would like to do and really build up this roster. We mentioned some of the free agent additions as well as trades, Azari Stevens, the trade for De'Arica Hamby. I want to talk a little bit about the draft because you mentioned Zaya Cook and
Mm-hmm.
Monica Shinano.
Mm-hmm.
What were your takeaways from draft day? Did you have higher expectations coming in? Are you happy with the class?
No, I like getting Zaya. Like I said, I wanted Zaya on the team because, like I said, she brings that big game mentality and hellish defense as well as a good jump shot. And same thing with Monica Janano, where I know she's kind of a throwback in today's basketball. She doesn't dribble and just gets to the post and puts it up. But again, they both have championship experience. Both Iowa and South Carolina got to the Final Four, and hopefully, bring in some of that youth movement in the Sparks. But like I said, it's hard to it's hard for these second and third round picks in the draft to stay on the roster. There's so much talent in the league right now with so little teams and so little roster spots. So hopefully they can stay in.
Yeah, Zaya and Monica definitely probably came to camp and were like, "Hey, like Monica, you ended Zaya's season and her career there
Yeah,
at South Carolina." That
yeah.
that's interesting.
It was, yeah. They brought that up on media day too, but they're doing all right. They're doing all right.
I liked it. Yeah, I would assume so. Hopefully by now, both of them weren't able to pull out that championship, but I am hopeful for them as well. One other
Mm-hmm.
addition that I failed to bring up somehow, Jasmine Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
actually one of Kurt Miller's first additions to this team is bringing
Yeah,
over his point guard from Connecticut, and
right.
like a really interesting trade. What do you make of that move?
I just think she's there for familiarity. Like I said, Kurt Miller had her as a point guard in Connecticut, and she's coming off an injury as well. And hopefully, she can come in slowly. And with this team, I don't want to say that they don't aspire high, but they know it's kind of like see where it goes sort of thing. Because again, this roster only basically 4 players, 5 players are returning from last season. I mean, Ray Burrell barely played last season, and it's basically the Wilmington sisters, Canada, and Lexi Brown that played most of last season, and Kayla Lou is pregnant right now. So, yeah, it's an entire new team, man. It's just gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, you mentioned De'Arca Hamby
Mm-hmm.
needing some more time,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully to come back this season. Katie
Yeah.
Lou Samuelson as well, and then Jasmine Thomas coming off of an injury. That
Mm-hmm.
those are three players that could be very helpful for the squad if they were
Yeah.
available this season.
Yeah, definitely. Katie Lou's not playing the season. And like I said, the Erica Hamby, there's no timetable just yet. But Jasmine Thomas, she should be okay for the season.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Happy to get that in there as we start to look at the roster, like you mentioned. I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious who you see as the team's starting five, as well as maybe could it be different than the closing five?
Yeah, I don't know yet. Honestly, let's be honest. Like there are a lot of talented players in there. Like probably the Goodmaker sisters, Azure probably would start. Jordan's probably gonna start at first before, and because Jasmine Thomas is obviously a great player as well. might come off the bench first. I don't know. Maybe Lexi. I have no idea just yet because again, it's such a talented team. Not a lot of superstars per se, but a lot of very good players, very a lot of solid players on the roster. So we shall see.
Uh, I want to talk to you a little, or hear your take as well on bringing back Neta Adumate because I
Mm-hmm.
thought there was a little bit of rumors maybe that maybe she would be tired of Los Angeles, but I think the addition of Kurt Miller as the head coach kind of helped to retain her and like you said, the Adumate sisters, they're both back this season.
Yeah, she wants to win. That's the main thing. And obviously the Sparks are going through quite a spiral right now. 2 years of not making the playoffs, which is the longest streak in Sparks history, which is funny enough. But yeah, she's on a 1 year deal, and I think we have to see how the season goes, and maybe after that she'll make up her mind on whether she'll stay or not.
All right, all right. Stylistically, looking at this roster, I think with Kurt Miller and the way he was able to run defensive units over in Connecticut, playing with a lot of bigs, I think we could see something similar with Azrae Stevens along with the Adjumake sisters. Do you think that we will see that on the defensive side at least? At
Yeah,
least a larger lineup?
yeah, definitely. Andrew's what 6'6", you know, and she's shown what she can do in Chicago. And Nick is also a great defensive player. Um, if Dearica Hamby's available, she'd be great too. But yeah, I think we're gonna see a bit of a large lineup for the Sparks for most of the time. But again, it's probably gonna be an experimental season, see where it goes, because like I said, only 4 players are returning from last year, so it's a lot of wait and see here, honestly. A lot of wait and see.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I'm just very curious to see what Kurt Miller is going to do on both sides of the ball, but working the ball through Neta Dumite on offense, I
Mhm.
think is probably the game plan. And like you
Yeah,
said, Jordan Canada and Jasmine Thomas is definitely a battle at point guard.
both solid. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what they do against Phoenix on the opener on the 19th. Then a couple more games and see where they're at, because it's gonna be a longer season this time around. 40 games instead of 36 and 34. Gonna be interesting. Chinea Gumeke mentioned that she wanted to be much more present this season. That's her goal for this season. So hopefully she can get that. She can play all 40 games.
Yes, that would be wonderful. I mean, goodness, doing these preview pods right now. Just kind of the overwhelming like health is we're all hoping for it. We're hoping that it doesn't hinder at all.
Mm-hmm.
What could be a really good season in the W40 games coming up soon. Like you said, hopefully we see a lot of Janae Dumake. We talked about kind of the styles. Are you concerned maybe, or do you have any concerns with this team and their roster makeup? Any weaknesses that you might see for this Los Angeles Sparks team?
I don't know yet, because there are 17 players right now, and I don't know who they're gonna cut. They're gonna cut down to 12 before the season starts. Um, gosh, repeat the
I
question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, like, I guess I kind of looked at the roster, and I personally think maybe shooting might be an issue. I'm not sold on Jordan Canada's ability to, I guess, be the number one point guard,
Mhm.
despite some good
He-
performances a year
mhm,
ago with
mhm.
the Sparks. But I think, as in terms of weaknesses, do you have any concerns heading into the season? I know it's very tough to say
It
at
is,
this
yeah,
point.
it is, because like obviously Nick is gonna be the go-to. Who's gonna be their number two and number three? Like I don't know
Yeah,
that just yet. Is it gonna be Azure? Is it gonna be Jasmine? Is it gonna be Dearica when she comes back? Like we don't know what the pecking order is just yet. And as far as the main weakness last season was chemistry. Well, we saw that, right? With
uh-huh.
I don't want to name any names, but the vibe that I got from media day, like they all seem to really like each other, and I think that's a very good sign coming into the season. Like they're all joking around, singing, stuff like that. So hopefully they can translate that onto the court.
Agreed. Agreed. Let's talk a little bit about some expectations for this team. Do you
Mhm.
know, I guess, where they see themselves? Where do you see this team fitting in terms of tiers? Because obviously you've got the New York Liberty, you've got the Las Vegas Aces up at the top, you've got the Mystics not too far away. Where do you see Los Angeles kind of fitting in? I've heard a lot of teams be like 4 through 12 is very wide open.
It very is. It very much is. So I'm gonna be safe here and go 20 and 20, 500.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they have a lot of solid players. No superstars. Obviously, Neca's been MVP before, but like no super stacked teams like the Liberty and the Aces, right? Like that almost seems unfair. But the league is very talented, and like I said, some very talented players have a hard time sticking in their roster, and that's insane to me. That's why they need to expand the league or have more roster spots. But yeah, I'm gonna go with a safe 20 and 20 based on the coaching, the discipline, and the vibes.
I love it. I love it. Yes, and Azare Stevens, as you mentioned, Neto Dumake, the one star on this roster. I'm curious to see who steps up. I was kind of surprised to see no Kennedy Carter being brought back, but you mentioned Azare Stevens could be potentially that second or third best player on this team.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping to see her break out in Los Angeles personally.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of room here to to break out here in Los Angeles. Like I said, a lot of solid players. I don't know how the pecking order is going to be, but if someone can do it, Azure can certainly do it.
Um, Lastly, here on this team, what are you most excited about for the Los Angeles Sparks in the 2023 season?
Everything because I don't know what's up. You know what I mean? Like I don't think anyone knows what's up. Like I said, a brand new team. They don't know how they're gonna measure up against the Liberty and the Aces and the Mystics. You know, we're gonna see how the chemistry goes and see how what kind of style Kurt Miller is gonna put out there. Will Nega bounce back with another MVP like season? How's Azure? Is she gonna break out? How's Zai Cook going to do? I'm excited what she can do to W. And I'm very much hoping that Monica Giordano can stay on the team. Like I said, there are gonna be cuts gonna be made in the next week or so, and it's gonna be terrible who gets cut out of this team because, like I said, the vibes are very good here, and they all seem to like each other. And I saw that media day, and there's been some highlights on training camp. So hopefully, they become a very good team, not just this season, but in the seasons to come.
And I'm almost intentionally not asking you about roster cuts because yeah, we
Yeah,
could
we
see
don't
a
know.
totally different thing here in
Yeah,
a week. By the time this is released, if I asked you about roster cuts, we could be praising some players who aren't even on the roster in a week. So I'm right there with you. I'm excited to see what the Los Angeles Sparks do. I like that you are predicting some improvement for this roster.
yeah,
Around 500 would be an improvement. And like you
yeah.
said, with the future and what Kurt Miller has to offer, I think he really signed on for the project of what this
Hmm.
Los Angeles Sparks organization can be. And I think we're all looking forward to it. Maybe not this year, but in the years ahead.
Hmm.
We'll see what Los Angeles has to offer this season, or where they will end up.
Yeah, Kurt Miller mentioned there's no ceiling to this. Like I said, he doesn't expect a championship right away, but he doesn't think there's any limits either for this season. So, maybe there are some expectations, maybe not. So who knows?
I like it. And Ray, as we get to the end of this preview podcast, I've got some fun for us.
All right.
Some predictions for this team. You came in early on the win-loss prediction. Do you think 20 and 20 sounds about right?
Yeah, I do think so. Yeah, 20 and 20. Yeah, because again, the team is talented enough to do it. Like they have a lot of very solid players, and chemistry can go a long way. We saw it in the last two seasons. So
That is very, very true.
yeah,
I think I'm going to sit a little bit lower on the Los Angeles Sparks personally. I'm gonna go obviously over 15 wins.
hmm,
Heading into a 40 game season, I think Kurt Miller will have some good things, have some good moments, but just so much talent, like you've already mentioned in this league. I'll go closer to about 16, 17, 18 wins. We'll go
yeah.
17 for
More wins, so it'll be more pleasant when I go to crypto.com arena. What I mean. Don't want any bad vibes going on there.
No, no, sir. As okay, now I have some awards, and these are specifically for the Los Angeles Sparks. Who do
Okay.
you think in the 2023 season is the MVP of the Sparks?
NECA, no question.
No question. Yep,
Yeah.
I think I'm right there with you. I think a fun um uh, alternative could be Azare Stevens or
Hmm.
maybe one of the guards stepping up, but
Hmm.
it's Neta Dumite as of right
Yeah.
now, and it makes the most sense. She is that good.
Yeah. Yeah. She really is, and she mentioned that she really wants to hang out with her teammates more, just be happier more, just be more of a human. So I think that'll translate onto the court.
I like it. I like it. And hopeful for her too. I know she
Yeah.
got so much going on as the president of the Players Association,
Hmm.
as well as being the MVP type player that she is for the Sparks. So
Yeah.
yeah, hopeful for her this year.
Hmm.
Up next on the awards, the most improved player for the Sparks. Who do you think could have the next step up season for Los Angeles?
Hmm. Assuming she stays on the team, I really like Ray Burrell's potential here.
Oh, I like that pitch. I know.
Yeah. Also, she only played 3 games last year, so it's kind of a default answer in a way.
See, yeah, I know a lot of people don't like to pitch like a second year player as their most improved player, but I think Ray Burrell, that's a good call right there. I'm excited to see Lexi Brown and what she looks like in Kurt Miller's offense. I know one of the main shooters, and so it could be
Yeah.
relied upon a lot. But okay, I like both of those. Up next,
But
the sixth player of the year.
we don't know who's going to start. So I'll go with whoever's coming off the bench between Jordan Canada or Jasmine Thomas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good call. Did
Yeah.
you potentially see I guess starting them both? I don't know if Kurt Miller would do that. I know he's played a couple of small guards in the past and he's been able to just because of the amount of size on the front court for
I,
Connecticut.
I don't think so.
No?
Like I said, Jasmine Thomas is coming off an injury. And they're probably going to bring her off slowly. But again, you don't know if they're going to start in the middle of the season as well because I know Kurt Miller likes her. So we'll see.
That's very true. Very true. All right. Up next, defensive player of the year for the LA Sparks.
Azure.
Oh, I like that fish.
Yeah, yeah. She's shown some improvement in Chicago, so hopefully she'll have more of a leeway in Los Angeles.
Agreed, and just so much length and
Yeah.
athleticism for her. She really impressed me, and I was shocked to see like her coming off the bench at times in the last couple of seasons, just
Yeah.
because of how reliable she can be on the offensive end,
Hmm.
for multiple levels, and then like you said, defensively. Hopefully,
And
I like that take.
and that Chicago team is stacked too. So I mean that's why she'll cycle out the bench as well. You know.
Very,
So
very true. Very
yeah.
true. But still, a very impactful player. I like that call for defensive player of the
Hmm.
year. Up next, rookie of the year. You've talked about
Yeah.
Zaya
Saya
enough.
Cook. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, unless Monica is on the team and she kills it in the post, but we'll see. But I like Zaya, obviously.
Agreed. Agreed. Zaya Cook, gonna run some point this year, maybe?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. Yeah.
Okay. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then up last here for the superlatives, I know you were at media day,
Hmm.
but just from our vantage point out here, who do you think is the unsung hero on this roster heading into the season?
That's a tough one. Probably Jasmine, only because like again, she's played for Kurt before, and she's probably gonna show him the ways per se, see how Kurt Miller runs a team, and because she knows so much, she can pass on the knowledge to all her other teammates, even if she doesn't play that much.
Sure, sure. I like it. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
Up next is the class clown. Who do you think is the most funny member of the LA Sparks?
I don't know. Crystal Bradford came in singing on media day right away, so I know Lexi Brown has a gift of gab. I mean, she was actually a guest on a post game show for the Lakers and Warriors recently. So she's pretty good as well. Yeah, tough. I go with Crystal.
Yeah, that's if like media day, you're coming in
Yeah,
singing that's
yeah,
probably gonna get you that.
yeah, yeah. Though I hear Jordan Canada is a very good voice, but I haven't heard it yet. So
Ooh, I like it. I like that. All right, lastly here, for our superlatives, but the best trash talker on the team.
oh my gosh, Nneka's quiet. Like I don't think she talks right now.
Yeah.
Her sister, I think talks a little bit. Especially she's on ESPN. Of course, she has to talk a lot, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, probably Chine or maybe Zaya. I don't know. I don't know those two. Yeah.
I like the Zaya call out. I'm
Mhm.
kind of thinking maybe Lexi Brown.
Yeah, Lexi too. Like we talked about, like how she was on a post game recently. So yeah, one of those two, I guess.
All right.
I'll learn more about it as the season goes on. I'll let you know.
I like it. Yeah, we'll be in touch here as the season goes along. But
Yeah.
Ray, thank you so much for taking the time here to talk about the Los Angeles Sparks heading into the 2023 season. Could you tell everybody where they can find your work?
Sportingtribune.com. I talk about the Lakers, and it'll be my first year covering the Sparks. That's why he has me here. I don't know why. Follow me on Twitter at the No Look Pass. That's it.
The no look pass. I love it. All right, Rey-Rey Moralde, thank you so much for talking Sparks with me here on a pro basketball show. Any other takes you want to get out heading into the 2023 WNBA season?
My niece is probably gonna hate me because uh she's an Aces fan. She's 8 years old, 9 years old this year. So I don't think she's pleased that I'm covering the Sparks this year. That's all.
I love it. I love it. Excited for that. Ray, again, thank you so much for taking the time, and we'll talk to you here soon.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning into a pro basketball show. You can catch a pro basketball show on streaming services such as YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify with live broadcasts on playback. Make sure to follow us at APBShow on social media platforms such as Twitter and Instagram, with more coming soon. Until next time, I am Andrew Willett. Thank you for tuning in.